Okay. Let's come back. Oh, we live. I see it. Are we live? All right, we back. Something was going on, and we dropping frames, and we ain't done nothing yet. We dropping frames, and we haven't done anything yet. Something ain't right. So something ain't right. Something is not right with the show today. I don't know what it is. Something ain't right. But I dropped it down. I dropped it down to 24 frames a second. I think a lot of people using the network. But anyway, let's get back to it. Where was the link at? Didn't I put it under this? Copy link address. Come back up here. Paste and go. Is it over? Alrighty, y'all. While y'all was watching the funeral, the landlord showed me the apartment. Now it's in the basement, so it's a basement apartment. Which, yay, nobody's under me. I'm going to be in the main part of the building. Now, it's not a huge apartment, but it has a living room, dining room combination. It has a full kitchen, a bathroom, and then it has a bedroom. So I got a living room, dining room combination. That's almost the size of my common area. I got a full-size kitchen. Not as pretty as the one we saw in the mobile homes, but a full-size kitchen. So we'll be able to do our cooking shows. I got a bathroom, and then at the very end is the bedroom. I haven't had a separate bedroom since 2016. So what do y'all think? Now, by being in the basement, if y'all notice that red door that's next to my white door, that's the basement. So I'll be able to drive the scooter, and then I can drive it. I can drive it into that laundry room, then lift the front up, and then wheel it, and then lift the back up and set it down. So I won't have to take the scooter apart. I only have to get it over one step 2 times. So what do y'all think? Now, from where I'll be, I can exit. I can walk up a flight of stairs and exit into the courtyard, or exit out the front door. So basically, I'm just in the main building. I'm basically in the main building. But instead of being the front where the mailbox is, I'm going to be on the other end, the back end. So instead of coming out the white door you see me come out of, I'll be coming out the red door. But I'll be on the first. Yes, it does. Man tried to get me to pay $800. I said, you might have lost your mind. So I talked him down to $7. So for $75 more a month, is it worth it to have a full apartment? That's what I'm asking y'all. For $75 more a month, is it worth it to have a full apartment? Now the application for my food stipend came yesterday, and so I need to renew it. And so he's saying next month. So I'm thinking about waiting to fill it out, and I know it'll increase, so that'll help. So that definitely will help as far as the food go. That should be an extra $40-50. The real test is going to be the BG&E. Because if it uses the same system, I might, if the system is better, I'll do all right. If it's worse, that's the key. How's the water heater? But you say don't count your chickens before they hatch. It's $75 more a month to have a full apartment. I can recoup 40 or 50 of that. And food stipend money. And I won't have to be worried about trolls coming in and talking about the place.
But what we need y'all to do to help us today,
so we can actually do shows on furnishing it. We can do shows on cooking.
And we must social distance ourselves. And if you're sitting in a seat that did not have your name on it,
and I ain't got to sit in the same spot for 12 and 13 hours a night. I'll be able to actually, walk around and don't have to sit right here all the time.
Is that all right? Can I get somebody to say, this is a church. Can I get somebody to say amen? Let's show this family the dignity that they deserve. And if you come here to show them your respect, it really shouldn't matter where you sit. So thank you so much for your cooperation, and God bless you. I'm going to put on my robe, tell the story, how I made.
But he said it's not gonna be ready till next month. But instead of having one room and a bathroom in the kitchen, I'll have a living room, dining room combination. I'll have a decent sized kitchen. Well, actually, they got a window in it. Big window. I didn't freeze already. No. I wish I would have thought to record it. Doggone it, I should have recorded it. I didn't even think of it. I had the phone in my pocket. I should have recorded it. But like I said, y'all know the girl who be watching out the mail for us? It's just a tad bit smaller than her apartment. But she paying $800. I'm not even sure if it's smaller. I think it's the same size. But it, but you know, she got Section 8, so she really only paying like $100. But now, I could have kept trying. I was trying to get them. They go to $675, but considering he wanted 8 something, I think I haggled him down. Then if we hang on to the end of the year, then I'm gonna try and get him to come down to $675. That's the plan. But it'd be nice to have a bedroom. You know, for only $75 more. Now I had to worry about the stairs. Now I have nobody under me. So, well, that's the one thing. He'll pick you up and take you over there to sign the lease. So we had to sign another lease. So now, and like I said, if I get in trouble, I'll ask y'all. I shouldn't. But if I do, I shouldn't know. Not having to worry about going up and down the steps. Oh, man. But I got the same address. I just got a different apartment number again. So. And like I say, hopefully, we'll get a raise in the Social Security at the end of the year. Now we said the end of the month. I'm supposed to be getting the $100 gift certificate from the phone company for buying the phone that we broke. But that'll help with the first month. Actually, you gotta pay a security deposit, which they have a $650, so I only gotta come up with $50. They said I'm enjoying the old gospel songs. I hope we ain't getting flagged for them. I hope we not getting flagged for this. Yeah, most of us gone. If we get another one, I ain't gonna touch it. If we get another one, I ain't gonna touch it. And we should be alright. I mean, we were paying $650 before, so $700 ain't gonna kill us. I may have to drop one of the phone lines though. And I knew it. They're around by 9 p.m. and the Siege came today. Where's the driver at? The Siege that he wanted me to get, they came today. What are they called? It said, unfortunately, China Post ran into an issue when attempting your delivery. That will try again. Okay. Well, you want to send me some more? I'll take it. It said delivery attempted June 2nd. Ain't today June 2nd or June 4th?
And he helps me to do what's That's why I'm saved. That's why I'm saved.
I ain't gonna worry about it because I got him. So that's why I'm safe. You say stop calling myself names. I should be better than what I am. And this will be the first step. Have a place I could be somewhat proud of. You should always have a good foundation. You should have a good base. I shouldn't be ashamed of where I live at. I shouldn't be ashamed to invite somebody over. You know, I've been living here for over 3 years. I've never had company. Other than the landlord or one of the Hispanic workmen, I've never had company. I don't have no furniture other than a bed, a folding chair, and the chair that I'm sitting in. Because there's no place for it. And like I say, Dave ain't gonna know what to do with herself. She gonna be able to run around. I hate to say it, I'm enjoying the music better than I enjoyed the daggone show. Maybe because I was running around. But we still sitting here waiting.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We need everyone to please take their seat. The family is here. We need the center aisle clear. We need anyone in the center aisle to my left and your right. Please clear that aisle so the family can proceed and take their seats. You also need everyone to please cut your cell phone off. Please cut off your cell phone. And let's receive this family with dignity. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, BLID. That's a beautiful casket, y'all. It's gold. It's gold plated. I like that. That's nice. But like I said, y'all, remember the funeral is for the people left behind. I'm getting ready to go to the market. I'm waiting on this person. Somebody in another apartment wants to move to this one. That's why I say.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we need you to socially distance yourself. It's every other seat. Please, ma'am, please, sir, if you're sitting directly next to someone, can you please socially distance yourself? Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Every other seat is not social distancing. They said 6 feet. So it's a couple sitting right there together in the front row. Why nobody ain't saying nothing to them? See? Hey, that stop. Hey, need that stop. All right, y'all. I just talked to I just texted the landlord, and I told him, I said, y'all got my $650 security deposit. So next month, I need to add 50 to the security deposit and make that 7. Then I need to give you 700. And I said I need the lease so I can take it to social services. When will we sign the lease? So all that's in his mind, hopefully. We'll make it work. I wonder what our reception will be, y'all. We're gonna be in the basement. We might have to downgrade back down to 720. Small price to pay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna hook the camera up. Hey, the scooter all the way down the steps. Stop on it. All right, y'all. I want to charge this. If we going on a move, see this over. Oh, it's right there. So I need a regular cord. I need a USB-C. In the place to be, in the USB-C, in the place to be, that's PC, in the place to be. So we said we would go, we gotta unlock it. And we lock the door. He said something. Yeah, I'm tired. What you bringing? Ain't gonna kill you. I'm out of breath. You ain't done nothing going down the steps. That's why I said you need help, sir.
Good afternoon. You may be seated. My name is Robin Wilkerson.
All right.
And I am the
I got the
new
camera
chancellor
charging.
of North
And where's our other
Central
camera?
University. To all the friends and the family of George Floyd and all of our esteemed guests here today, I want to welcome you on behalf of the university, on behalf of Dr. Scott Hagan, President, on behalf of the Board of Regents,
But you know what?
on behalf of the faculty.
We ain't even got food with you.
That you're here with
Couldn't let me
us
have a
today.
picture. I know.
And we're honored that you have come to mourn the loss and celebrate the life of Mr. George Floyd. On behalf of everyone here, I want to personally express our deepest condolences for this tragic loss. Now, to open this service, this celebration of his life, we will have a scripture reading from Reverend Jerry McAfee, pastor of New Salem Missionary Baptist Church, followed by an opening prayer from Dr. Scott Hagan, President of North Central University, and a solo by Mrs. Tawana Porter.
On behalf of the pastors and preachers from Minneapolis and St. Paul, Bloods on the south side, Gangster Disciples and Vice Lords on the north side, Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. The war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion, and the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock.
Once again, on behalf of North Central University, I want to welcome the Floyd family to our campus. This is truly an undeserved honor for our university. I've been praying all week that this sacred space would become a table of healing for the Floyd family, the city of Minneapolis, and for the world beyond these walls.
Well, that was real smart. I got rid of all the bags. So now I have
But before I offer that brief prayer, I just want to announce, as president of this school, the institution of the George Floyd Memorial Scholarship.
I tried to do something for that thing. I couldn't do it.
Even before announcing the scholarship yesterday, unsolicited, over $53,000 was handed to me to contribute toward the educational promise of aspiring young Black American leaders. But here's what I really want to say. Far beyond North Central University, I am now challenging every university president in the United States of America to establish your own George Floyd Memorial Scholarship Fund. So people across this nation can give to the college of their choice. It is time to invest like never before in a new generation of young Black Americans who are poised and ready to take leadership on our nation. So university presidents, let's step up together. I want to invite you now to pray with me, if you will. Lord, your word in Proverbs 31 is dynamically clear. It says to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and the helpless and see that they get justice. Lord, we are asking today for you to take this table of healing here in Minneapolis today and multiply this healing all over this nation as part of that now never fading voice crying out on behalf of those who have been and who are now being crushed in body and spirit. At this table of healing today, Lord, we ask that you touch the Floyd family with supernatural comfort and grace, that they may be granted a few moments of respite as their beloved father and brother and son is remembered in a way that honors his life and his personal faith in Jesus Christ. At this table of healing, we are asking you, Lord, to show us the way. Our city and nation are becoming rightfully despondent, with neighbors set against neighbor. Help us to repent, not just seek to restore. As a nation, as cities, as universities, and as religious communities, heal, make new, and help us, O Lord, rebuild our national family. And finally, Lord, at this table of healing today, we are asking you to search our hearts as pastors, rabbis, priests, imams, business leaders, politicians, and educators. Help us reconcile our failed witness and lead us forward as caring neighbors and diligent gatekeepers of mutuality and mercy. Guide this generation to change the national narrative on race and power and change all of our hearts until they match your heart. We ask all of these things in the name above all names, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Bite you in the butt, man. Bite you in the butt.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that
somehow now I'm found.
But now
I said, I'm found.
I'm found.
A better way. I was blind, but now I
see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears
I don't know, is the service over? Is that what I'm doing? Tell them that you say, raise that name, praise that name.
Here, just a moment. Robert,
Say, raise that name, praise that name.
George Floyd, but before that,
Let me check my check. I got the phone over here charging.
Attorney Benjamin for his remarks. Would you please welcome?
All right, y'all.
I'm Attorney Ben.
Apparently, I'm replaying this. Okay.
Ramanucci,
I put the same link in.
Stewart,
So apparently it's over.
out front, seeking justice, seeking.
Y'all have to realize, okay? Alrighty, y'all. Look, y'all have to realize, okay, that I've been running around. Okay? Not only did I go and see the place, but the landlord told me that somebody wants to move in this place. The place I'm trying to get out of, somebody wants to move in it. That's why I tell y'all, when you think that you're in a bad spot, there's somebody that's looking at you and want to be where you is. So you should always be grateful for what you have. That doesn't mean don't try to reach higher. But what that means is, as you reach higher, don't forget about what you already have. Because you might think that you can do better, but there's somebody that want to be where you at and they think they doing better. So never get down on yourself. Never get down on where you are in life. Never get down when it seems like other people got more than you. When it seems like other people get breaks that you never seem to get. There's somebody looking up at you. And one thing I learned from working and volunteering at the drug rehab centers, for every person that I would see that would say, I've been clean for a year, there's somebody that's been clean for 6 months and been looking up to that person that's clean for a year. For that person that's clean 6 months, there's a person that's been clean for 1 month and looking up to that person that's been clean for 6. There's a person that was clean for 1 week and was looking up to the person that was clean for 1 month. Somebody walking in the door asking for help that been clean for a couple hours was looking up to somebody that was clean for 5 hours. Do y'all understand? It's not where you are in life, but are you making an attempt to make yourself better? If you have no desire to do better, then accentuate and use what you do have. But don't be jealous of somebody else. Don't be worried about what's in somebody else's pocket. Don't be worried about what somebody else is doing. Worry about what you're doing. Because while you worrying about what somebody else is doing, somebody worrying about what you're doing. So be an example. If you are an alcoholic and you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, you've been clean for a year. There are people that have been clean for 6 months that want to be where you are. There are people that have been clean for 3 weeks that would kill to be where you are. There are people that's clean for 3 days that would kill to be where you are. So take note of your place. And remember, you are an example to somebody looking up to you. So don't let nobody intimidate you, or let nobody make fun of you, or let nobody say that you ain't nothing. Because if you're trying to do something, there's somebody quietly looking up to you. There's somebody somewhere quietly looking up to you. You know, I actually Y'all was with me the other day when I went to the store. An old man was asking me, how did I get the scooter? That old man probably gets more than what I get. He probably gets more a month than what I get. But he was looking up to me because I had a scooter. Now, I could have done the Republican thing and say, why are you worrying about what I got? Get your own. When you get your own, then I'll talk to you. But no, I told him what he needed to do. Because, see, somebody told me. And I passed the information. I didn't keep it to myself. I passed it along. No matter where you are, no matter what you got, there's somebody looking at you saying, I'm going to get that. I'm going to be where that person is. I'm going to live where that person lives. I'm going to drive what that person drive. I'm going to get there. I'm going to keep trying. There's somebody looking at you right now. Some of y'all ladies that's married, especially you black ladies, there's a whole bunch of ladies looking up to you. And they'll probably treat you like dirt, but they looking up to you. I wish I could get married. I wish a man would want to come stay with me. Somebody's always looking up. Know your place. But don't be satisfied to stay there. Try to improve. But at the same time, don't discount the blessings that you currently have. Because a lot of times we say, well, you know, it's nice, you know, that we got food on the table every day. But it sure would be nice to be able to go out and eat like my neighbor do. They go out and eat every night. We got to sit here and cook. You know, we have chicken and sometimes we have steak and pork chop. But, you know, it'd be nice to go out and have somebody cook for us. So we ain't got to sit here and slave over the hot stove. Well, guess what? There are some people that got beans and rice on their table. And they would kill to have what you have on that table. But you're not appreciating what you got. You looking at your neighbor. Stop worrying about what your neighbor doing. I told the people in the roast sector several times. All y'all do is sit around and talk about what somebody else does. If you want to hurt them, beat them. Become bigger than them. Oh, no, that's too much work. Hey. All you doing is making that person look better than you because you chasing up around behind him. You know everything he do. What did they say to people that just walk in? This must be a great person. Let me go sup to him. And then you wonder why he keep growing and y'all not. Just thoughts. George Floyd's funeral was today. There are a lot of George Floyds out there over the past 200 years in this country. There are a lot of George Floyds out there. Let's not get it twisted. So should the families that have lost their children to police brutality, should they say, I don't care about no George Floyd? Why you ain't talking about my son? Why you ain't talking about my daughter? Where's her memorial at? To the people that's been rioting around the country. If they sit around there and say, well, didn't nobody care when my brother was killed? Nobody didn't care when my sister was laid out. Didn't nobody care? No, they say, look, this is a chance to let everybody know around the world it ain't just in Minneapolis. It ain't just in Baltimore. It ain't just in New York. It ain't just in Chicago. It ain't just in Louisiana. It's all over the world. So rather than sit there and go, well, you know, my brother didn't get this much attention. People said, This is a chance for them to get their attention. That's why you see so many names on so many murals. This is a chance. Rather than hating on George Floyd, use George Floyd to highlight the other cases. The cases that there wasn't a camera on. The cases that got swept under the rug. The cases that the prosecutor pretended didn't exist. They bringing that up. And it's a great thing. This isn't about black versus white. This is about a rogue police force that's been given too much power. And they think they're above the law when they're supposed to enforce the law, not be the law. The police are not the law. The police do not write the law. But we watched videos last night of the police making up laws on the spot. Just making them up to fit whatever they're trying to do. That's what needs to stop. Because the fact of the matter is, whether somebody works as a CEO for a big financial company or somebody works at a daggone McDonald's cleaning up the toilets, their taxes pay your salary. You work for them. You're not better than them. Because their work helps pay you for your work. So you're not better than them. Get rid of that attitude. Just because you got a badge and a gun. You ain't got to be no Rhodes Scholar. All you got to be able to do is pass them tests they give you, which I passed with flying colors. Be able to use common sense. Y'all know I got that. And be able to run around that track 4 times in 16 minutes and 22 seconds. My heart wouldn't let me do it, but God done it. Closest I could get was 19 minutes. But God done it. If I had done just would have got around there. Just that one, only took one time. You only got to do it one time. I couldn't get it done. So every time I see a cop, I got to think to myself, you were that close. So to everybody that's at a training academy right now, that actually got around that course. And the other 25 that didn't get around that track in time, we looking up to you. But when we see the behavior, when we see the brotherhood of the police department, when we see the shield, it's worse not getting the job, because it would have meant fresh blood, new people didn't make it that might have made a change. I'm not getting involved in that. Why are y'all planting drugs on that person? Why y'all only locking up these people but not locking up them? That's what was lost. So I couldn't make a difference on the street. I try to make a difference on this platform. But it would be nice if while I was handcuffing some of these young people, that I could take that time, not to make fun of them, not to try to embarrass them in front of their people, but to actually say, look, you can do better than this. There's another way. This is what some people want you to do. That's what was missing. They didn't care about the money. They didn't care about the benefits. But now, instead of being on a local street level, I can come on this platform and be on a worldwide level. And maybe I can get messages out through here to more people than I could have one person at a time. But if given the choice, would I rather be boots on the ground? Yes. I'd rather be boots on the ground. Now, I apologize to y'all about the funeral coverage, but I told y'all yesterday that I had something to do. And I tried to balance them both out. The reason why I don't have video of the new apartment is because I was sitting here setting the show up when I know I only had 5 minutes to meet this man. Because he said 3 o'clock. Then he called back and said 2:30. Then he called back and said, where you at? So I made the landlord wait while I set the show up. But that showed a dedication. I almost missed out on the opportunity because I didn't want to disappoint y'all. Y'all could have watched that anywhere. But the fact that y'all would be here is why I did it. So we went and saw the place. I haggled with the man. I got the price down. I got 135 off. Then the man hit me with something. He went and knocked on somebody's door and said, come on. I was like, what in the world is he doing? He gonna catch up to me and say, hey, somebody gonna be coming and look at your place. Go open the doors. Make sure all the doors are open. What? Then I rushed up here and started cleaning. So I still couldn't enjoy the funeral. I was in here cleaning, trying to make the place look as nice as I can make it look. Because just like I said, just like I'm trying to get up out of here, somebody trying to get in here. As bad as I'm trying to get out of here, somebody's trying to get in. When I go outside and talk to the neighbors, y'all have heard them say, yeah, I couldn't live in that small place, but yet one of them wanted to move in here. Yeah. I don't know if it's a lower price they're looking for, but I'm trying to get up out of here. And even though I didn't have to, I came in here and made the place look the best I can make it look. Because that apartment got holes in the walls they got to fix. Somebody left the bed in there. Somebody left clothes in there and all kinds of stuff. They even left the daggone the bed post. I was thinking about asking them to leave it. Before y'all start laughing, I was thinking about asking them to leave it. Because I don't have a headboard. I was thinking about asking them to leave it. But I don't know what's in it. Could be bed bugs. Could be roaches living in there. I don't know. But I know when they clean it, first thing we're going to do, put that boric acid down. That's the first thing we're going to do. Go in there, put down the boric acid. Matter of fact, I might order some new electronic devices because now we got more rooms. It's not just one big room and then 2 little rooms. We got 4 big rooms. The bedroom is a nice size. It looked like the bedrooms that we saw in the trailer video. It's not too big, not too small. It's okay. The living room, like I said, it'd be nice to have an apartment that you can walk through. Be like, here's the living room, dining room combination. Look, let's walk some more. There's the kitchen. Let's walk some more. There's the bathroom. Let's walk some more. Here's the bedroom. The minute you come through this door, you see everything. You go to the right, that's the bathroom. You go to the left, that's the kitchen. And you're looking at the daggone room. So it'd be nice for somebody to walk in my house and not the first thing they see is the daggone bed. It'd be nice to get some used furniture. I don't care if I have to rent or own. It ain't gotta be nice. You know, it could be something decent. Like I said, you know, people will say, if you showing something else that somebody is doing, why should we watch you and not watch them? Because somebody asked this. I forgot your name, but you don't matter. But I'll answer your question. Because I deleted your comment. The reason is that, number one, you get commentary. 1, 2, we can go look at anything. Somebody got a question, we can go look it up. You can't do that while you on a phone out live streaming. So if we are covering somebody that's out there, we can actually pause what they doing and go look at something. We ain't got to just stay there. You'll hear me say, let's go check and see what's going on with NBC. Let's go check and see what's going on with Reg Acanito. Let's go check and see what's going on with Unicorn Ride. But then we got the option to go look at other things. No Night by Cares just sent us the link to go look at. That's what's different. So, where did she send it to? Hold on. All right, give me a second, y'all. I gotta share this. She sent it through the what you call share. Who should I send it to? I'll send it to Liz. It's sending. Sent. All right, let's go to Liz. And there it is. All right, y'all, this one on Night by Cares. Copy link address, and let's come back. Naya says, use your stimulus package for new furnishings. Places like rental centers are extremely predatory. I know. They try and get you to pay 3 times what it costs. But I'm gonna try and find a like I said, I don't have company, and I probably will never sit on it. So I'll put a sofa in the living room, maybe a love seat and a table, and that'll be it. Cause I'm not used to having it. That's a sad thing to say. I'm not used to having it. I had to give all my furniture up when I moved in here. The only thing I brought was the bed. I'm dead serious. The only thing I brought was the bed. So this will definitely be something new and exciting, and also we'll be able to do product reviews, and I'll probably donate the living room to the show. Because like I say, I'm in the basement apartment, but all the windows go in a row. They go in a row, and they face out this way. So I don't know if I'm gonna have my back to the window or if I'll be facing the window and looking out. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll figure it out. Like I say, when you have a green screen, you can put stuff behind you, but we'll see. All right, this is from No Night by Kaz.
Herschel, talk to me about what you said the other day. You said, I've had enough. As we're watching these riots and we're watching our country come undone, and quite honestly, watching media turn bad into good and good into bad, where we are now saying, protests, they don't always have to be peaceful, and, these are peaceful riots, and nobody's holding anybody responsible. You said enough is enough. Can you recap some of your thoughts?
Yes. I was sad because, America, I love America. I absolutely love America, and, I've spent the last 12 years working with our military on the behavioral health side, trying to remove that stigma of mental health. And I know our young men and women of service, they're true heroes. They fight wars for us, they die for us, they sacrifice so much for us, and our ancestors have done so much for this country to put us in the position we're in, that we have everyone from other countries want to come here. And yet... Wait a minute. You just said our ancestors did so much. I've just spent the morning listening to protesters talk about how their ancestors were slaves, and so what they're stealing today is just a down payment on what built this country. But you're a black man. A little bit with that. People need to get back to history. Slaves were not just African Americans. Slaves was a lot more than just African American, and people need to realize, and start talking about ancestors. Let's go back to the Indians. Let's go back to the Native American. So that's what people need to go back to. And one of the things I think we become a society of, and I hate to say this, and I hate to call out any group, is when a group starts thinking about something for free. Hey, nothing is free in life. You know what? I have my Caucasian friend, my white friends, some of them family have worked as hard as I work to get in the position I'm in to do whatever they got to do. And, there's no doubt you talk about African Americans being slaves, but there was also other people that were slaves. Let's talk about let's talk about the Jewish. So let's not start looking back years ago, what happened years ago. And I'm tired of people wanting a handout rather than a handout. And that was one reason I said I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this, that, stealing and routing and beating people up has nothing to do with Florida, Aubrey out of Georgia. And, yes, it made me sad. I was very sad to see that, and there's no doubt I was upset with the police. But I also know 99.9% of the police are not bad people. You do have a few bad apples in there, the same as society. You got society where good people are, you got bad people. But when you have leaders in this country, and I'm getting to our Congress, I'm getting to our senators, when you got leaders in this country,
all right, now you drop the link,
talks about things got to get better, but yet they have been in Congress for years and they've done absolutely nothing. But yet they run again, they get elected again. They continue to talk about this, so people need to know the truth. So don't talk about my ancestors was in slavery, that you owe me something. No, what I owe you is a hand up to help you out to make things equal for equal playing ground. Because no one knows what happened 500 years ago. No one knows what happened with that, but I know what's happening now. I have white, black, Native American, Asian American, all types of races that's fighting wars right now in the military for America. So that's what we need to think about. This is America. And I told someone earlier, I said, I am tired of this Democratic right now. I'm tired of this Republican right now, because this country is at war. This country is at war because you have people that, I'm not just talking about African American. When you watch this TV, you see just as much white out there doing this as you do black. Well, when are we going to have a leader to step forward? Well, we got a leader to step forward with a name by the name of Donald Trump. But yet, when he says something, that's when you see someone shows their head.
who's been hiding forever. They've been hiding. All of a sudden, the president says something, they come out and they want to criticize. And my point was, guys, if you're going to criticize, you need to stay on the sideline. Let someone else step in at an interim right now, because you don't want to represent yourself as a senator or congressman to say, we have to stop this. This can't be. This is for America. This has nothing to do with Democratic, nothing to do with Republican. We are Americans, and we need to go with that first and put down laws that's the way this country was built. And you see the passion I have, and that's how much I love America.
I will tell you, Herschel, thank you for coming on the program sincerely. We have the whole building. I just don't know anything about sports, so I apologize for that. But the whole building is thrilled that you're on with us today. Everybody's big fans. But you are being this outspoken is not something. I mean, it's thank God it is becoming less rare than it was. But being this outspoken, you are immediately a traitor to your race with the left, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm so sick of all of this with you, because this is about I'm not asking for anything. I support the police, and I support throwing the bad police, getting them fired, and if they deserve it, jail. I don't want any of this to happen to anybody of any color. The police are supposed to be serving and protecting us, not doing anything else. So we're really on the same page, but this has become more about destroy America, destroy the economy, and make everything socially equal through social justice. This isn't about the Constitution, and I don't know how politicians are standing on the sideline when people on the streets are saying, this is about destroying America. We have to burn it down to restart it. That's insanity.
Well,
how do we reach those people?
You said something that is, you don't know how they're doing, but I'm going to help you to understand that. And that's why I said truth will set you free. Since this administration has came into office, they have tried many things to throw him off base. First, it was in Russia. Then it was in impeachment. And then it's the pandemic. And now it's this. But yet they continue to criticize. And all I said is, you know what, I like Donald Trump. People don't know I started out with Donald Trump. I knew Donald Trump before he became the Donald. He was my first boss I ever had. And I said, guys, this is interesting. If Biden wins the presidency coming up, I will support him because he's the president. And what's great about America is they gave me a right to choose to decide what I want to do. That's why I spoke out against Biden when he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Well, I said, you know what's so funny about that is that's the reason they fought wars, is give me that opportunity to decide who I want to vote for, to decide what I want to do. And that's what made America beautiful. Well, right now, people are upset because you like this, and if you don't like what I like, you're a racist. Well, when they use that word, and I say our Congress have used that word in the House, that someone is a racist, do they know what racist really is? People were harmed for that. People were beat up for that. People had dogs bitten them for that. That's what a racist is. I know that. I grew up in Georgia when things was getting better. And do we have a long ways to go? Yes, we do. But are we a great country? Yes, we are. What is the reason everyone want to come to America? Because it's better than where they came from. And I even thought of something earlier today. I said, you know what we can do? Everyone that's so upset, they're so mad, and everyone first told me that if Donald Trump get into office, they're leaving the United States. But no one left. Well, I want to throw something out. I want to throw it out to all the airlines and to everyone that can travel. If people don't like the United States today, they think it's so bad. If we can give them a ticket and let them go wherever they want to go at, because that'll be fine. I donate into it, and I want them to be happy.
I will join you in that, and I will donate to that as well.
Well, that's what I want to throw out. I want to throw it out like we want to help them out. And because I would not fight my white brother right now. I would not fight him. One of my biggest, and I'm gonna throw him out. One of my biggest friends, and he's like a brother to me, is a guy by the name of Francisco Ross. Francisco Ross was the first Latino American to play at the University of Georgia. He became my big brother. He would die for me, and I would die for him. And right now, he has gone through just as much as I've gone through. And it's like, guys, I have another friend. I want to throw him out. A guy from Van, Texas, named Todd Fowler. Todd Fowler and myself and Tony Dorsett were roommates at the Dallas Cowboys. Todd Fowler is like a brother to me. And I'm going to be there, and I'll stand with him shoulder to shoulder. And that's what I told people today. I said, guys, I will stand with the police shoulder to shoulder when they're doing the right thing. The same thing I said with the protesters. I stand shoulder to shoulder with you. I'll shout as much as you want to shout. But to become destroying, to become a thief, to become someone beaten up, it is not right. It needs to be called out for what it is. And I think to call Floyd name, Aubrey name, even Mr. Dorn, a police officer who was black that was killed, to put that name in this rioting, in this looting, all this stuff is totally not right. It's not fair. You know, they're not of that. We are better than this. And our senators, our congresspeople need to come together and get with this president who is trying. You know, this president is trying. You know, people, the truth, let's hear the truth. The truth is, in 3 years this president has been in office, and African American need to hear this. He's done more for African American than the last 4 administration has been in. Why don't they put things side by side and look at it? Look at what he's done compared to what the other generation has done. And I hear, and you know, and I hope people forgive me about Vice President Biden. And I said, I hear what he's going to do, and he's going to be so wonderful if he becomes president. And I was sitting there, and I said, wait a minute, he was a senator for 20-some years or 30-some years, and he was VP for 8 years. What did he ever do for the African American? You know, what did he ever do for the African American? Now, and I'm not saying you can vote for him, because that's what's great about America. You have that choice. But don't penalize me if I don't, because I think I want to see proof. Well, if you've been in office for over 8 years, you've done nothing. Proof is you're not ready to serve to America. I want you to do something. Is that not what you're supposed to go there in Washington? And President Trump has done. He's raining in the swamp, because we now know that in Washington, and I think that's what they're upset about. The people now see.
See you, Links 9 up next. All right, that was from No Night by Kez. That was a famous football player. All right, first link from Naya. Y'all see this? All right. I don't know why there ain't no volume. Volume is up. That look like Travis Mcmichael right there. Is there any volume?
Attorney's office on behalf of District Attorney Joyette Holmes, who's seated behind us, and we are representing the state of Georgia based on the Attorney General Chris Carr's order that in case I wanted to make a record as to who we are and why we're here. I am Jesse Evans, and I am the major crimes for the Cobb County DA's office, and this is Linda Dunikoski, who's here with us today to handle them. As you noted, Judge, due to the state of emergency issued by the Supreme Court, we have followed the court's guidance and wore our masks into court today. We appreciate the fact that in order to make a record and for our court reporter to take things down, it might be necessary as we're speaking to remove those masks temporarily, as I've done now. And we appreciate the court understanding that that's sometimes required, even despite the Judicial Emergency Acts, that we can make a proper record by defense counsel and by the defendants in this case, not by the state. This is the probable cause hearing, and this preliminary hearing, we're prepared to go forward, as the state has said. They are essentially challenging the probable cause for the issuance of certain arrest warrants for the defendants in this case. We have no objection to one of the defendants not being present virtually or in court due to the arrest request and the fact that they expressly said a waiver here, though we acknowledge the fact that had they insisted on the president's accommodations so that he too could be remotely, for lack of a better term, zoomed in or Skyped in, whatever this technological system is. Today, though we're acting as the special prosecution in the case, we're here essentially on the behalf of the citizens of Glenn County to talk about the fatal shooting of the February 23rd incident involving victim Ahmaud Arbery, who was chased, hunted down, and ultimately executed. We believe the evidence will show based on what's about to be presented to the court. That's our purpose for being here today. I will tell the court that yesterday during a status conference involving the lawyers, there was one of the defense attorneys for defendant Brian that articulated some speculation as to how this court might rule on some things, which was a little bit troubling from the state's perspective. Other than yesterday meeting face-to-face, that's the first opportunity we had to meet you, Judge, and we appreciate the professionalism that you've shown us and the courtesy that you've shown us here in Glenn County. But I did want to at least state for the record, since the record was silent yesterday, that we were concerned about that articulation. We don't know what the basis for that would be, but we're certainly ready to go forward at this point. We believe this court to be a reasonable court by all of our dealings with you to date, and we're prepared to call our witness and defend our probable cause for the issuance of these arrest warrants here. But I wanted to make those prefatory remarks and also articulate for the public that may be watching why it is that there might be times that we do not have our masks on, and it is important in these criminal matters that we make records and that we have court reporters take those things down, and sometimes it's easier to do that when the masks are temporarily removed. So I didn't want to be silent on that point in the face of the national and worldwide crisis that we're dealing with this pandemic. Thank you. With that, Judge, absent any other remarks from any other counsel at this point, we call Richard Dial from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations to the witness stand.
Place your right hand on your side. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
You may receive it.
All right, so thank you for removing your mask for purposes of making the record, but I'll ask that you keep it handy. If there becomes a point in time where you're no longer testifying, then we may ask you to put that back on while you remain in the courtroom. Understood?
I do. Yes, sir.
To the degree you're able, I want you to use the microphone beside you so that we can make a good record so that everybody can hear you. First of all, if you will, introduce yourself to the court. Spell your first and last name for the benefit of our court reporter.
I'm Special Agent Richard Dial, R-I-C-H-A-R-D. Dial is D-I-A-L. I'm Assistant Special Agent in charge with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation assigned to the Kingsland Field Office, which covers Glenn County.
Have you been tasked with being the lead investigator on the investigation involving the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery from February of 2020?
Yes, sir. I'm the case agent.
Before we get into the facts supporting your arrest warrants that were issued in this case, will you please articulate briefly background that allows you to serve as an investigator with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations?
Certainly. I was hired as a narcotics agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation in 2001. I was subsequently promoted into a special agent position. I had been with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation that entire time, which is approximately 19. At that time, approximately 17 years of that, I've been assigned to the Region 14 Field Office, where I've worked a variety of investigations.
In this particular case, you're not the only agent working on the case. Is that accurate?
And that's correct. There was a team of agents assisting me in the investigation.
And as we now, can you confirm for the record and for the benefit of the judge that while arrest warrant aspects of the case that are continue to be under investigation?
That's correct, sir. It's still an ongoing investigation.
I have copies of the arrest warrants in this particular case for the defendant, the two Mcmichaels, as well as Mr. Bryan. Are you the affiant who swore out those affidavits for arrest for these defendants? If I am correct, the date of the offenses that we are on 23rd of 2020, is that correct?
That is correct.
And just to get past these basic background information before I open it up to you for the facts, will you confirm that you have arrest for felony murder based on aggravated assault as well as aggravated assault?
I did, yes, sir.
And then can you also confirm that Greg Mcmichael is charged with felony murder based on being party to the crime of aggravated assault as well as party to the crime of aggravated assault?
Yes, that's correct.
And then finally, chronologically, the last warrant that was obtained by you and your agency is against William, sometimes referred to as Roddy Bryan, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
And that those warrants charge him with felony murder and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The location of the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery in this particular case, what is that essential cross section of those streets?
It's going to be Holmes Road and Satilla Drive. That is in Brunswick, Georgia, in Glenn County.
Holmes is Holmes, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Satilla, Satilla, for the benefit of our court reporter?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And can you confirm for me that that is in Brunswick and in Glenn County, Georgia?
Yes, sir, it is.
Today, you have a monitor in front of you. Do you see two of the defendants present virtually?
I do, yes, sir.
And they have masks on, but do you recognize who those two are?
I do. Seated on the left in a striped shirt, and Greg Mcmichael is in a jacket and tie, seated on the right.
Questions about when you got involved in the investigation.
Yes.
Was the GBI asked to be involved with this case at the outset, or did that come about later?
No, sir, that came about later.
Can you briefly articulate, for the benefit of the court and for our court reporter, how that is that you came to be involved in the investigation and why that was delayed somewhat?
Certainly. This case was originally investigated by the Glenn County Police Department. Subsequent to that, the district attorneys recused themselves for this circuit. Another district attorney was assigned, and that district attorney recused himself and was assigned to a third district attorney. My agency on May 5th, 2020 contacted that district attorney, offered our assistance. The district attorney was Tom Durden, and we offered our assistance. He availed himself of our assistance and requested us to become involved. May 6, 2020, I was contacted and assigned the investigation.
All right. You've had an opportunity now to review Glenn County's initial response to the shooting, correct?
I did, yes, sir.
And I assume you've talked to witnesses and had your agents talk to witnesses in support of the arrest warrants that you obtained in this particular case?
Yes, sir.
Briefly, I want to talk about the deceased victim in this case. Will you tell the court what his name was and a little bit about his background?
Certainly. His name was Ahmaud Arbery. He was 25 years of age. He was a resident here in Brunswick, Georgia. He lived at 140 Boykin Ridge Drive at the time of his death with his mother. He was involved in athletics, liked to play games outside. He liked to run video games.
As part of your investigation of this case, were you able to determine the approximate distance from Ahmaud Arbery's home to the place where he was fatally shot on Satilla and Holmes?
Well, yes. I actually took a dry measurement from his residence to where the house under construction was located, which is and that's located at 220 Satilla Drive, and it was approximately 1.8 miles. The scene of the shooting is a little further down the road, 2.5 miles would be my estimate.
I want to ask you some more background information now about the defendants in this case, and we'll start with Travis Mcmichael. Travis Mcmichael, were you able to determine what his age was?
Yes, Travis Mcmichael. He is 34 years of age. He resided with his father, his mother, and his sister at 230 Satilla Drive in Brunswick, Georgia.
And did he have some prior training?
Yes. He served in the Coast Guard as a boarding officer who's involved with the interdiction of that, and that's the position that he held.
You had mentioned that he lived on Satilla Drive with his father. What is his father's name, please?
His father's name is Greg Mcmichael.
How old was he at the time of the commission of these crimes? And did they live together?
They did.
Can you tell the court a little bit about the background of Greg Mcmichael, the father in this case?
Yes, Greg Mcmichael was a retired official circuit. He served in that position for a number of years. Prior to that, he served as an officer with the Glenn County Police Department. He also served as an officer with the Brunswick Police Department and with the Department of Natural Resources for a short time.
I want to ask you, was he an officer for some period of time with the same agency that was initially called upon to investigate the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery?
Yes, he was. He was an investigator for a number of years with the Brunswick Judicial Circuit and actually retired as an investigator from the Brunswick recusal themselves from the case.
And specifically, did he at some point in his background also work for Glenn County Police Department?
He did, yes, sir.
I want to turn our attention now to the third defendant, William Roddy Bryan, and ask a little bit about His background, can you articulate for the court where he lived and a little bit about his age and his background?
Certainly. William Bryan, he resided at 307 Burford Road, which is in the same housing area, the same neighborhood as Satilla Drive. He's 50 years of age. He was employed as a small engine mechanic at the time of this incident.
Before I turn our attention to the actual date of the crimes in your arrest warrant, I want to talk about the Satilla Shores neighborhood. Are you familiar with it?
I am, yes, sir.
And you had already mentioned on your direct examination previously reference to a home that was under construction. Can you please explain to the court the significance of that home?
That residence is at 220 Satilla Drive. It belonged to a gentleman by the name of Larry English. It was a home under construction. I believe Greg Mcmichael, one of the interviews, refers to it as a shell of a house. He was in the process of constructing his home. As you go into Satilla Shores neighborhood, you go down a short way and it's on the right. It's as you come in. This home is important in this investigation because the deceased victim in this investigation, Amanda Aubrey, had been seen inside that home on security camera footage prior to the shooting incident. And on the day of the shooting incident, the neighbor had seen him inside of the home that's under construction and had called 911 prior to the rest of the events take place.
Focusing now on that home, you said that the home was under construction. Was it secured or unsecured at the time?
Sure.
And when I say unsecured, describe for the court its state.
Windows were in the house. There are no interior walls, it's studs. We have this from the security camera footage that shows the interior of the residence. There was no garage, or it does not appear to be there was any garage doors on the house, which is actually attached to the house. In the video, we couldn't tell if it had a front door or not, but it's very obvious that individuals were able to walk through there without being impeded in any way.
In fact, have you found as part of your investigation other videos showing other people that walked through this unsecured residence at different times?
Yes, sir. Besides Amanda Aubrey, we have 2 other groups of people that have been inside the residence with interference construction.
Was anyone living at that house at the time of this crime?
No, it was going to be a vacation house that was under construction. There was a small trailer in the backyard, which was secured, but for when the owner, who resides in another county, would come and work on the house, he'd have a place to stay. But it's been under construction for quite a while.
Okay. And to your knowledge, was anything ever taken from this house based on the video footage that you've seen?
No, I think there were some kids in the neighborhood, I believe, took a couple pieces of wood from the house. But that was on video. But other than that, no. There's nothing I saw in the video, nor that Mr. English has told us during interviews he can say was taken from the house.
And has the owner been interviewed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
Yes, he's been interviewed at least 2 separate times by 2 different agents in reference to this case.
You had mentioned that Mr. Aubrey was an avid runner. Is that accurate?
It is.
And have you talked to multiple people, you and your agency, who confirmed that running was one of the things that he did?
Yes, sir, very much.
For helping for just his mental state?
Yes, sir. He just enjoyed running, is what we're getting from numerous witnesses and the family, friends of his.
In conversations with the homeowner of this house under construction, was there ever any discussion with him about water sources that might be there if somebody wanted to get a drink of water, say during a run?
That the homeowner, Larry English, or through his attorney, has made statements concerning their speculation of water sources at the house, and that could be a reason for Mr. Aubrey's entering the house video, but I'm aware of that statements that they have made.
On the date in question, now turning to February 23rd of 2020, you had talked about video. Is there multiple sources of video surveillance that's been in the Satilla Shores neighborhood from which we're able to put together a timeline of what happened?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Different locations, not just this house?
No, yeah, there's different locations. Neighbors and other sources of video we have show the events that occurred.
I want to direct your attention to specifically February the 20th, the date that is the subject for the 3 defendants in this case. Looking at all of the evidence and speaking to all of the witnesses to piece together a chronology of how Aubrey came to be shot at Satilla Shores.
Yes, sir, I have.
Would you briefly and succinctly articulate for the court what to piece together from your investigation in this case?
Certainly. From the house that's under construction, you see Mr. Aubrey coming up to the house, going direct. From the interior view of the house, you see him just wandering around, again, not taking anything, looking around inside the under construction building. The neighbor across the street, Mr. Albanez, he on the video coming forward and interviewed him, he saw Mr. Aubrey going in the house, so he calls 911. At that point, the call is dispatched, and during the call, it's actually logged in the open construction site. So Mr. Albanez sees him in there. From the video, you can tell that Mr. Aubrey comes out of the residence and goes running down the street. From the interviews conducted by Greene County PD, and you can actually see it on the Mr. Greg McMichael was in his front yard working on some cushions for his boat. When he sees, during his interview with Greene County PD, he says that he didn't know if Aubrey was chasing somebody or somebody was chasing him, but he recognized Aubrey from previous video he had seen from February 11th as somebody that was inside under construction.
I want to talk about that previous video since you broached that topic. Did Satilla Shores have a Facebook page during which residents were talking about that property and other things?
Yes, they did.
It was about the fact that somebody may have been in that residence previous to this.
Yes, there was some discussion about it on the Facebook page as on the February 11th report that was filed by the officer who responded. Let's note that the person's information was on that page.
And now getting back to the chronology of February the 23rd of 2020, in terms of Mr. Aubrey running past the Mcmichael.
Proceeds past the household, he's running down Satilla Drive south. Greg McMichael goes inside, according to his statement and Travis McMichael's statement, tells Travis McMichael that the guy's running down the road. They both grab their weapons. Greg McMichael arms himself with a Smith & Wesson 686 .357 Magnum revolver. Travis McMichael arms himself with a Ring 870 pump 12-gauge shotgun. They then enter Travis McMichael's truck. Travis McMichael is driving. Greg McMichael is in the passenger seat. This is according to. Then on the video, you see them come out of the driveway and turn in the direction that Amar Aubrey was running.
I want to pause there at this point. You had mentioned a previous 911 call involving the residence that was under construction, correct?
Yes.
Were either of the McMichaels the 911 caller for that initial call about the structure?
No. The person that called was Matt Albanese. Neither Travis or Greg McMichael has called 911 at that point.
And that's what I want to be clear on. So my follow-up question to you is, when the defendants, the McMichaels, armed themselves with this revolver and shotgun, did they make a 911 call before going after Mr. Aubrey?
No, sir, they did not.
So there's no 911 call initially by them as they gave chase?
That's correct.
Can you describe the vehicle that the McMichaels were in?
Yes, they were in a white Ford F-150 2019 model that belonged to Travis McMichael.
Per statements of the defendant, can you articulate for the court whether there was any time in which the McMichaels were able to catch up to the deceased victim in this case?
Yes, of course, and we have video of them. They called up with Amar Aubrey as he was running. He actually runs down Satilla Drive. Satilla Drive takes a turn, but if you continue straight, it turns into Burford, which is the street where Mr. Bryan resides. They catch up to him. According to Travis and Greg McMichaels, they're giving commands to Amar Aubrey to stop. This is captured when this is going on. Mr. Bryan is outside of his residence, and he has a surveillance video camera that captures this shooting down his driveway. So you see Travis McMichael's truck and Amar Aubrey in his driveway, and according to Mr. Bryan's statement as well, he sees them trying to pursue Amar Aubrey. In the video, you actually see Amar Aubrey trying to get away. He's running backwards. The truck would move backwards, and he's moving forward. He's trying to escape at that point in the video. According to Mr. Bryan's statement, he does not know Travis McMichael. He has met Greg McMichael, but he didn't recognize Greg McMichael at that time because Greg McMichael was in the passenger seat of the truck. But he recognized the truck as a truck that's in the neighborhood. So then he yells, "Do you got him?"
When you say he yells, "Do you got him?" who are you referring to?
Bryan is yelling to the person in the truck who he doesn't know. He doesn't get a response. Mr. Bryan, his statement, then goes into his residence, gets the keys to his truck, comes out and cranks up his truck with the intention of assisting in the pursuit.
So at that point, Roddy Bryan makes the decision to enter his residence, correct?
Yes.
Get his keys?
Yes.
And then what kind of vehicle does he get in to join the pursuit of Mr. Arbery, the deceased victim?
He is in a 2018 Chevy Silverado gray in color.
At this point in time, based on our best, one call been placed by either the McMichaels or the Bryan?
No, none have.
Can you describe as best able, I know it's a convoluted situation, we're going to get back to, but describe for the purpose of a record if you're able, the sequence of events thereafter as these two pickup trucks at Satilla Shore chasing Mr. Arbery?
Yes, Mr. Arbery continued heading down Burford Road away from Satilla Drive. Mcmichael are following him. Again, Mr. Bryan is getting his vehicle cranked. At one point, Arbery turns and goes back the way he was running in an attempt to close. Greg Mcmichael, who had been riding in the seat of Travis Michael's truck, he's actually sitting on a child's car seat at this point. He exits the vehicle with the intention of confronting Mr. Arbery. Mr. Arbery is running back down the road at this point. Mcmichael, in Travis Michael's statement, Greg Mcmichael comes back to Travis Michael's truck and tells him, go back, back up, trying to go up and engage Mr. Arbery. At this time, his driveway, his vehicle was actually back in his driveway. So the front of his vehicle is facing the front of his driveway. So he pulls out on the road, he sees Mr. Arbery coming, and he pulls his vehicle out in an attempt to block Mr. Arbery in. That's according to his statement, as well as Travis Michael's statement. At that point, Travis Michael makes a decision. He tells Greg Michael, no, jump in, and his decision is to circle around Buford Road, because it circles around and actually becomes another road. His intention is to get and cut off Holmes Road, cuts into Satilla Drive, and let's make it look sense. So Greg Mcmichael hops into the back bed of the truck seat situation, and they then go and start circling around the block pretty much to cut him off. At this time, like I said, Mr. Bryan has pulled his vehicle blocking the road, trying to block Mr. Arbery, and Mr. Arbery goes around the bumper of his truck. According to Mr. Bryan's statement, he then pulls out the road and makes several more attempts to try to block in Ahmaud Arbery, trying to detain him.
I want to ask you a couple questions before we leave this point. At this point, have the two trucks separated from each other?
Yes, sir, they have.
And you had mentioned Mr. Bryan's statement to you all. Did he talk about his attempts to sort of run Mr. Arbery off the road or push him off the road using his vehicle?
Yes, he made several statements about trying to block him in and using his vehicle to try to stop. The statement was that Mr. Arbery kept coming out of the way and moving around the bumper and actually running down into the ditch in an attempt to avoid his truck.
At various points during this chronology that you're articulating, based on the evidence you've seen, including some video footage, were you able to determine that using these two pickup trucks during the whole event, Mr. Arbery's path of travel was essentially redirected by the actions of the defendants?
Yes, sir, very much. Mr. Bryan, so Mr. Arbery gets, if I can explain. Sure. That's okay. Mr. Arbery goes around Mr. Bryan's truck, the way he's come, which would lead him out of the Satilla Shores neighborhood. Mr. Bryan makes statements that he continues to try to block in Mr. Arbery. Mr. Arbery takes a right turn onto Holmes Road, and Mr. Bryan is actually overshoots him going Satilla. So at this point, Mr. Arbery is trying to avoid Mr. Bryan, and he turns down Holmes Road, which is actually going sideways back into the neighborhood instead of out, which is the way he was traveling. Mr. Bryan then remaneuvers his vehicle and pursues Mr. Arbery down Holmes Road.
I want to be clear on that point. As you go down Holmes Road, had Mr. Arbery been allowed to finish that path of travel, was there any direction that could be made to get back to the exit of that neighborhood?
Yes, if he went down to Holmes Road, he could have called in to Satilla Drive and going back out Satilla Shore. So pretty much he could have gone straight, but he cut and would have had to circle back around. But he could have still escaped the neighborhood at that point.
At some point in time, I know that a video was started by Mr. Bryan. Is that accurate as much? And we have copies of that video from his cell phone, correct?
That's correct, yes.
There's been portions of that video television, but there's actually other portions to that video. To articulate for the court what you were able to see and confirm with Mr. Bryan about what he did as Mr. Arbery was heading down Holmes Road away from Mr. Bryan's vehicle?
Yeah, so Mr. Bryan's pursuing Mr. Arbery, again with the intention of trying to catch up to him and block him in. At this point, while going down Holmes Road, Mr. Bryan turns on his cell phone camera and begins to try to videotape Mr. Arbery. Mr. Arbery stops. Now, at this time, the Mcmichaels have turned off of Zellwood and are coming down from Holmes Road. So you've got one vehicle coming one way down Holmes Road and another vehicle coming another way, and Mr. Arbery is in between. So at some point, Mr. Arbery turns around and starts heading back towards Mr. Bryan. Based upon the statement, it appears that Mr. Mcmichael is coming. Mr. Arbery's running, sees Mr. Mcmichael's truck, and runs back by Mr. Bryan's truck. Mr. Bryan gets out of the way as Arbery runs past him, and then he sees the Mcmichaels come forward. Now, at this point in the video, Mr. Bryan's put the video down, so you don't have video of this sequence of events. But this is according to Mr. Bryan's statement that Arbery runs past his truck, then the Bryans come past his, then the Mcmichaels come past his truck. Then Mr. Bryan down in the direction of that Mr. Arbery had traveled.
Before we leave this topic here, was any of this captured on the video before the phone was put down? Could you actually see Mr. Arbery trying to evade the truck?
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, and did you see him turn around and try to get away from the truck before it turned around? I'm referring obviously to Mr. Bryan's truck.
Yes, sir.
And I know that you just said that the video was put down at some point and couldn't see, but were you able to capture any audio?
Yes, you can hear the different gears changing in the engine moving in the vehicle. Yes.
All right. And then along those lines as well, during the portions of the interview with the police department and members of the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, did he make any admissions to you that his vehicle had any contact with the deceased, the damage as a result therefrom?
Yes. He indicated at one point that his vehicle had contact with the victim. Mr. Arbery had been trying to open the driver's side door, but did not got to the driver's side door. The police department that day actually photographed the truck. You can see some palm prints appeared to be swiped on the rear driver's side door. It's his truck is a Ford. So there's some swipe marks and palm prints there. There's also white cotton fibers along the truck bed where the bed liner lips over the bed of the truck. There is white cotton fibers along it, which Mr. Arbery, during this pursuit and incident, was wearing a white cotton. There was also a dent directly below those white cotton fibers, and that dent we attributed to contact with Mr. Arbery because of its location.
And did Mr. Bryan confirm during his interviews that the dent was actually as a result of the vehicle making contact with him?
I believe that was his surmise. Okay. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Turning now to the situation we have involving the two pickup trucks. After Mr. Bryan confirmed that both pickup trucks were essentially facing the same direction on Holmes.
It was Mr. running back down Holmes towards Sequoia Drive, Travis McMichael driving his truck directly behind Arbery, and then they're lying behind Travis McMichael's truck. At some point, Travis McMichael's truck gets ahead of Mr. Arbery.
The McMichael's truck gets ahead of the victim.
Their vehicle gets ahead of Mr. Arbery. This is almost at the intersection of Satilla Drive and Holmes Road. They stop.
Is this a public roadway?
It is.
Where is Mr. Bryan's vehicle located during this portion of the chase?
Mr. Bryan's vehicle is behind Mr. Arbery. Mr. Arbery at this point is between Travis McMichael's vehicle and Mr. Bryan's vehicle.
Is Mr. Bryan able to video any portions? Have you reviewed that video and do you have it?
I do, and I have.
Can you please describe the chronology of events after the McMichaels parked their vehicle in the middle of this public roadway as Mr. Arbery approached the back of that vehicle?
Yes, I can. Mr. Bryan picks up the phone that's been videotaping the whole time and holds it up so you have a view. You see Mr. Arbery running down Holmes Road, going towards Satilla Drive. You see Travis McMichael's truck is parked in the road. Travis McMichael, the driver's side door is open. Travis McMichael is there. It is apparent to me he is holding a firearm. The arm is raised. It's in a pointed position at one point. Then then Mr. Aubrey is running. He then apparently sees what Travis McMichael in front of him. Then he changes direction to go around the passenger side of the vehicle.
Rather than going to the driver's side where you had seen Travis McMichael with the shotgun, he's now going to the opposite side of that truck that's parked in this public roadway.
That's correct. He's going around the truck.
What happened after that?
Travis McMichael then moves from the driver's side door. The door is at his back initially in the video, and he's got the shotgun. He then positions himself around the driver. You see Mr. Aubrey running alongside the passenger side, and again you see Travis McMichael has repositioned himself along the front of the truck. Mr. Aubrey then comes up to a position, sees Travis, then makes a decision and turns and decides to engage Travis McMichael.
What happens after that?
As he turns and goes toward Travis McMichael, you hear then you see Travis McMichael moving backwards with Mr. Aubrey. Obviously, they were engaged in a physical confrontation at this point. They go off the screen. You then hear a second shot where you see blood and spray into the screen, a mist of it. Then they come back in to the view of the camera. There, Mr. Aubrey is striking Travis McMichael. There's a struggle going on, and then you see a third shot occur. The firearm being lowered down like that. We see after the third shot, you can see Mr. Aubrey get past Travis McMichael and continue running down Holmes, almost right there at the intersection, and then he falls.
You articulated 3 separate gunshots here, correct?
Yes.
Where was Greg McMichael at the time that this was going on?
Greg McMichael was in the back of the pickup truck. When the situation began, he was on the phone.
At this point, have they finally called 911?
They have, yes.
Armed at that time?
He was. As the confrontation drops the phone or puts the phone down, and then pulls his weapon, and he has his weapon. Parts of the confrontation occurred.
When you talk about his weapon, are you '7 revolver that you had articulated earlier during this hearing?
I am.
And of note, can you tell the court and make a record about any significance about that weapon, as even mentioned by Greg McMichael in terms of where he got it?
Yes, that was the same .686 Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum revolver that he carried when he was an officer with the Glenn County Police Department, and it's stamped Glenn County GCPD.
Did he articulate that he was a former law enforcement officer to Glenn County Police officers when they arrived, and is that captured on body cam video?
It is. He said it several times.
And did he mention also several times that that was a gun that had been issued by Glenn County Police Department?
He did.
You mentioned 3 gunshot wounds in this particular case. Can you articulate for the court, for the benefit of our record, where those gunshot wounds were to Mr. Aubrey's body?
I can. Mr. Aubrey suffered a gunshot wound to the center of the chest. He also suffered a gunshot wound to the upper left chest, around the armpit area here. Again, from the front to the back. He then suffered a shotgun wound to his right wrist.
I want to talk about other things that were collected by Glenn County Police Department. And again, this was not your crime scene, and that you were asked to participate in this investigation later, correct?
That's correct.
You're aware, though, that certain items of evidence of significance were collected in this case by Glenn County Police Department?
I am, yes, sir.
How about the firearm?
Yes. Well, Travis McMichael's firearm was collected by the Glenn County Police Department.
And how many spent shell casings do we have from that shotgun?
3.
2 of them were expelled, is that accurate?
That is correct.
What about the third one? Where did that remain?
It was still within the chamber of the weapon.
And give a description briefly for the benefit of the court and the record about what type of firearm that was used to shoot Mr. Aubrey.
The 870, Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun is a pump action shotgun, meaning that once a shot is fired, the front forearm of the weapon has to be operated to eject the spent shell, and then the forearm has to be operated again to load a new live round in.
During Travis Mcmichael's interview with police, did he make any admissions about firing the fatal gunshots in this particular case?
He did. He admitted firing the weapon 3 times.
And the first shot that he articulated, where did he indicate to police that that shot landed?
The chest, Mr. Aubrey's chest.
So the first shot that Travis Mcmichael said that was inflicted on Mr. Aubrey was one of the chest wounds that you'd articulated here, correct?
That is correct.
And is there video evidence that you saw that tends to corroborate, based on your observation, that that is an accurate statement that the chest wound was, or at least one of the chest wounds was the first shot that was fired at the deceased victim, Mr. Aubrey?
Yes, sir, there is.
Can you articulate to the court how that is, that you're able to see that?
After the first shot, again, you see a struggle between Travis Mcmichael and Mr. Aubrey. The struggle, Mr. Aubrey, while he was wearing a white shirt during this incident, during that straight with blood.
He's already saturated with blood before the struggle that you can see on the video.
Well, that's correct. During the struggle, it was mere seconds after the first shot, his front of his shirt is saturated with blood.
Okay. Because this is somewhat of a complicated situation, just doing it orally, do you think it would be a benefit to the court and this judge, who's the finder of fact, to use a map to sort of describe the sequence of events as we're able to piece it together based on interviews and video that you've reviewed?
I do, yes, sir.
Judge, we had brought to court today a map, and I know this year not the ideal setting in terms of use of technology, because we are having to utilize the technology for the benefit of the defendant remotely. The defense also brought a map, and I think we have a joint agreement that we will tender one of those maps. It's a blow-up map as a demonstrative aid so that we can help articulate the sequence of events. Is that an accurate statement?
Correct, John.
Okay.
We agree.
I don't know anything bad, but we'll go along.
So, for our purposes today, I will tender this blow-up as a demonstrative aid as State's Exhibit number 1. We have a smaller version here in court that's very similar. And what I'll suggest to the court is that during a break, we get a smaller digital photograph of this to make it part of our record. I understand that the defense might want to take this map with them when they leave, and the state has no objection to that, so long as we make a record about what the map looks like. Is everybody?
I agree with you. We were granted that.
So again, Judge, I know these are not the ideal circumstances, and we are truly appreciative of the court being accommodating to us as we try to navigate through this pandemic and the issues that we're facing here. But I think the best way we're able to do this will be the State's Exhibit number 1 will send to the defense. If I appropriately, I believe that everyone can see that on the video. Let's get confirmation by thumbs up or otherwise.
Jesse, can you just turn it this way a little bit?
I can. Just trying to get the glare off of it.
Glare.
Is that okay with you? I see glare on the corner, but otherwise you're satisfied.
We're satisfied.
Pointer, if you please extend that inch off the dot, and then I'm going to try to hold this. Describe what is depicted here for the benefit of Judge Harrell.
This is the Satilla Shores neighborhood.
And then show generally the entrance into Satilla Shores that you talked about.
This is the entrance up here to Satilla Shores.
And talk generally about a house under construction. Let's talk about the locations that you talked about during your testimony before we go into the chronology a little bit more.
Certainly. And this is Satilla Drive that comes down. This would be approximately the residence that was under construction. That would belong to Mr. Larry English. This is part of Greg and Travis Michael's residence where they resided. It would be within this area here is William Drive along Burford.
And then what about Holmes Drive? Do you see that depicted here as well?
Yes, this is still a drive here. This is road, the intersection, the shooting incident.
On the chronology that you just described for the court, please show where Mr. Arbery would have initially entered this neighborhood.
He would enter the neighborhood from up here, which is the entrance. Again, along Satilla Drive is construction and that's where you first see him. We have him on video. He's coming along Satilla Drive and coming into the house.
Will you make sure that you speak up really loudly, since our court reporter is now facing your back, and I trust you'll give me an indication if you can. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry. this is still a drive. You come in from the front. If you'll come here, this section we have video of Mr. Aubrey as he's coming in this direction down Still Drive to the home that's under construction.
I don't think we've explicitly covered times yet, but
it was, yes, it was approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
conditions sunny?
Sunny, clear, yes.
Describe now the chronology based on the statements that you all and the video that you pieced together of where Ahmaud Arbery initially fired involving the 2 pickup trucks.
Sure. So, again, inside the house that's under construction, the neighbor comes out, sees him, he is standing approximately calls 911.
Police are on their way.
Yes, police are on their way.
Actually respond in such haste that they were able to hear anything.
Yes, sir. The first responding officer, again, he is coming back down here. He then hears the gunshots as and he notes that in his body cam footage.
Not to keep interrupting you, but if you will describe the path of travel of Mr. Arbery per statements and video.
Certainly. Again, Mr. Aubrey comes out of the residence under construction, then heads south along Satilla Drive. You see him on the video as he comes in this direction. This, again, is Greg Mcmichael and Travis Michael's house. Greg McMichael's statement is that he goes in and tells Travis they then grab their weapons. On the video, you see Travis, what appears to be Travis McMichael's truck, come off the 230 Still Drive and go in this direction in pursuit of Mr. According to their statements, Mr. Aubrey then comes down Satilla Drive. He then goes on to Burford Road. Again, he comes by Mr. Bryan's house, which would be in this area here. There's video. He's going back and forth by Travis McMichael's truck at this point. Then, according to statements, Mr. Aubrey goes down Buford. Travis McMichael is pursuing him down Buford. Before they get to the turn here, Mr. Aubrey turns back and goes back north along Buford. This is when Greg McMichael gets out of his vehicle. In the meantime, Mr. Bryan has decided to go in pursuit himself. He has entered his truck. He sees Mr. Aubrey coming down Buford. He pulls out in the roadway in an attempt to block him in and stop him. Mr. Aubrey goes around his truck. At this point, Mr. Bryan is in pursuit of Mr. Aubrey, trying to stop him, trying to detain him. Travis McMichael has made the decision to, instead of going back this way, to go around Buford to when it turns into Zellwood here, and to come back along all the way up Zellwood and turn down Holmes Road. Mr. Travis McMichael's statement is to try to cut Mr. Aubrey off.
I want to pause and ask you some questions just articulated for the court. There was a point in time, at least one, where Mr. Aubrey's path of travel was redirected, correct?
Yes, sir.
And was it redirected in such a manner that had he continued straight, he would have been able to leave the Satilla Shores neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
And was Mr. Arbery ever able to leave this neighborhood based on the evidence that you have?
No, sir. He was killed before he exited the neighborhood.
You talked, based on my questioning, on direct about the 2 vehicles, the 2 pickup trucks in this neighborhood separated at one point. Describe in more detail the path of travel of both of the trucks after they separated, essentially.
Certainly. Mr. Bryan, again, is headed, generally north on Buford back towards Satilla Drive in pursuit of Mr. Aubrey. Because that's the direction Mr. Aubrey is going at this point, is back towards Satilla Drive, which is the way he has come into the neighborhood, and he's going back the way he came. Of course, Travis McMichael, as I said, he is at this point on Buford. Instead of going back in pursuit, he decides to loop around according to his statement and try to cut off Mr. Aubrey by going down Holmes Road.
Was Mr. Aubrey redirected by Mr. Bryan's vehicle such that he could not make it straight out of the exit of this particular neighborhood?
That's correct. Again, Mr. Bryan has stated that he tried to stop and detain Mr. Aubrey several times. At one point, actually, Mr. Bryan goes on Satilla Drive. Mr. Aubrey, being pursued by Mr. Bryan, turns down Holmes Road.
Oh, that's it. Oops. All right, is anybody still here? All right, that was the first video. She sent 2 of them, so it must be a part 2. I sent them to Liz, the links. So when I come back, we're going to continue. So I'm going to be live. I'll be live in like 10 minutes, y'all. And we can talk about what we just saw. All right? So give me 10 minutes. I'm going to change this shirt. And we're going to head to the store. It's 6:56, so I hope to be live by 7:10. So meet me outside at 7. Everybody, 10 minutos. 10 minutos. Meet me in 10 minutes.